Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa has directed that flags be flown at half-mast at flag stations around the country until Saturday evening in honor of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who passed away last Saturday at the age of 95. Prince Buthelezi will be buried on Saturday and has been accorded a special official funeral Category 1 granted to persons of extraordinary credentials with elements of military ceremonial honours. Now, at the time of his passing, Prince Buthelezi held a critical role as the Prime Minister of the AmaZulu nation and was instrumental to King Misuzulu KaZwelithini's takeover of the AmaZulu throne after the death of his father, the late Zulu King Goodwill Zwelithini. So to talk to us more about Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi's rich royal heritage, we joined now by Doctor Mphumeleli Ngidi, who's an historian from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Dr. Ngidi, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much. Good morning to the listeners and the viewers at home. Thanks for welcoming me.
Doctor, firstly, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi's royal lineage is one that, people have been talking about since his passing. And he is, of course, a direct descendant of King Shaka. But how was he able to merge his traditional and modern lives and tracing that back to his role and that of his father before him as an example?
Yes, that is very true. Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi ascended into the throne in 1954 when he was announced by the reigning king of the time, King Misuzulu KaZwelithini. So also, out of all the seven traditional prime ministers who have been in existence from the reign of King Shaka when the Zulu kingdom was founded, he's the only one who had a direct blood relation with the Zulu family. We should remember that Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi was a son of Princess Makoko, who married Inkosi Umathole of the Buthelezi clan. Inkosi Mathole Buthelezi was also the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation until his departure or death in 1942. So there has been this history of the Buthelezi is holding this position, because we could also remember that during the late 19th century, under King Cetshwayo, when there was a war between the Anglo-Zulu war between the British and the Zulus, Inkosi Mnyamana, also Mnyamana, who's the great grandfather of Ubaba Ushenge, was also the traditional prime minister of the Zulu nation by this time, and the responsibilities which are contained in this position are very huge. You wear different hats in the same position, because the traditional prime minister is always have to be there when the king makes a public presence. Also, the traditional prime minister, Undunankulu Sizwe Samazulu, is also an advisor to the king. He's a person who had to tell the king when the king is misstepping. He has to tell the king that no, we don't, we do not do that, to protect the dignity of the nation. This is how we should do it. So Prince Buthelezi balanced this position also with the position of leading the Buthelezi clan of Emahlabatheni Olundi, where he was also the chief of the clan. He ascended into this throne in 1957 when he was coronated into the throne. So it was a dual traditional position that he held over the years. 69 years as a Zulu traditional minister, and he was used into when there are conditions he was very good at suiting conditions when there are disagreements. It wasn't the first time that the prince was in contention or had disagreements with the reigning king. It's reported that also with the
Well, our apologies there. Seemingly just lost that connection to Dr. Ngidi. But we are, of course, talking about the late Prince Buthelezi and, of course, his role that he played as the Prime Minister of the AmaZulu nation and, of course, his royal lineage as well. I believe we have Dr. Ngidi back. Dr. Ngidi, you were still telling us about the tensions that exist and that this is nothing new.
They are not new. Even when the late king Umdlogombane had to be coronated. We should remember that during the when King Misuzulu departed in 1968, a regent was elected. So there were tensions there over the transition of power, and there were also reported issues that were said that they were inexistent. So Buthelezi was instrumental in also in installing the late king in December 1971 when he was coronated. Out of all those issues that arose, the contentions and all that, Buthelezi was there. I remember this during the before the coronation. He was in New York, but he came back to solve the internal issues in the Zulu monarchy, so that to ensure that there was a smooth transition to ascension to the throne. And also, I've heard claims that the deterioration of his health was due to the disagreement with the current king. I'm disagreeing with that. He has been previously in different contentions, disagreements, arguments. He has been there. He was used to it. And when you are a prime minister, you are an advisor to the king. So it's naturally expected that there will be disagreements there and there.
Dr. Ngidi, so as you pointed out, that Prince Buthelezi was, of course, the traditional prime minister to three kings, as you pointed out. So many have questioned, whether he ought to have been in that role. So please explain to us how this actually works. And now that he has departed, who would be the next in line for that position?
I knew this question was coming. The position of Undunankulu Wesizwe is not hereditary. We know that it has been held by the Buthelezis for over a century. But the decision rests on the king and his entourage. So the current king, the reigning king, King Misuzulu, will have to make that announcement on who he deems fit to hold that position. So there will be speculations of who should be next. So it's the similar speculation when the king announced the spokesperson of the Zulu nation. There will be halapalos there and there, but this decision rests on the king. As I've alluded, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi was announced during the commemoration of the founder of the Zulu kingdom, King Shaka, in 1994. King Misuzulu stood up and announced that Prince Buthelezi would occupy this position. His father as well was also announced in a ceremony at Ishowe in 1925 or 1926 by the reigning king of the time, King Solomon Zulu. They are announced like that from King Shaka when Ngomane was announced up to now. All the 9 kings of the Zulu kingdom. It has been like that. The decision rests on the king.
So with that said, is there any specific criteria? Are there any guidelines to be followed in terms of how the king ultimately decides on who becomes the traditional prime minister?
Whoever the king deems fits to occupy this position will be elected to such a position. So as we know, that the king has his advisors, and also the family as well is involved, because the family are the holders of the chair, and the king is the representative. So they sit down, discuss, and come to a particular decision, because this is we should take into consideration that this is an important duty which is assigned to a person who's Undunankulwesi. This person is the protector of the affairs of the Zulu kingdom. This person can also be delegated by a king to any duty, including addressing the chiefs or any other traditional leadership protocol. So there are many duties that this person performs. So it's not an easy decision. A person who's chosen to this position has to be a vehement person who stands by his words, who walk the talk, a person who can speak to the media, who can also defend the king, look at the speeches, analyze the speeches, and ensure that the Zulu monarch is at its strongest, with it ties with the government, and also spearhead the ceremonies such as Umkhosi Womhlanga, Umkhosi Wokweshwama, and other traditional ceremonies, including the installation of the king. So this person has to always be nearby the king, and is also the one when the king has to make a public speech. This person has to precede the king, introduce the king before the Inyosi sings the praises of the king, and after the king has finished, this is the person who also has to address or sing a particular song. Or when there is noise, the king does not have to quell noise. This person has to stand up, or the MC, and quell that noise if the king is making a speech. So this person has to be side by side, and side by side with the king, and be a trusted person who does not shy away from the truth.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. So many more questions, because I think it's unfortunate that we use incidents and occasions such as these to actually educate ourselves about customs and traditions and just immerse into the culture. But thanks so much all the same for your time, Dr. Mphumeleli Ngidi, who's a historian from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, talking to us about the royal family lineage of Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, and there will, of course, be a memorial service for him today.